Hello, my name is Zoe. I'm 28 years old and I have a 7-year-old son named Cody. I'm sure you did the math in your head and realized that I had Cody when I was really young. So let me tell you my story. When I was in high school, I had a boyfriend who I was head over heels in love with. I thought he was going to be my forever, which was why I stayed in my city for college so we could attend the same college. I gave up everything to be with him. We remained together for a long while, which was a mistake, really. In my junior year of college, I got pregnant. My family pretty much disowned me, and my boyfriend's family told him that if he didn't marry me, they'd disown him. He needed their support, and I figured that they'd at least help with the baby. Plus, I loved him, and I only saw this as an upside. So we had a quick court marriage, and I had my son Cody shortly after. After I gave birth to Cody, my relationship with my husband went to the gutter, to say the least. He became very absent and resorted to alcohol. He kept telling me how much he resented me and the baby for ruining and stalling his life. Apparently, he never even loved me to begin with and was only with me because I was desperate enough to stay with him. I still stayed with him because he was my only financial support. I graduated college somehow, but I could not work and take care of Cody, especially since my husband wasn't helping at all. Thankfully, I had some amazing friends who came to my aid. Not only did they help me get out of my toxic relationship, but they also supported Cody and me until I was back on my feet. Another great thing was that Cody was barely 2 when I left my toxic husband, so he didn't even remember him. After that, I was on my own for a while. I learned how to parent all by myself, and it was only Cody and I. I was happy and living more than comfortably after I managed to find a job in my field. The same friends that helped me out introduced me to my current husband, Archer. I will say that I was very skeptical about being in another relationship after the disaster that was my previous one. But Archer was genuinely such a nice man. Even Cody loved him. And after just 2 or 3 visits from Archer, Cody would always ask for him. Not to mention, Archer was much more than on board with dating someone who had a child. He was understanding of my situation and always made me feel like I was his priority no matter what. We dated for 2 years before Archer proposed, and I said yes. We had a small and intimate wedding ceremony, and a few months later, Archer adopted Cody. I was the happiest girl in the world, except there was one small problem. My mother-in-law, Rita. She absolutely hated my guts. She hated that I was not pretty enough for her son, and hated it even more that I already had a son from a previous marriage. Archer always stood up for Cody and me, but that never stopped Rita from making comments. The only other person who stood up for me was Archer's sister, Maisie, who had 2 kids of her own. Her kids were Rita's pride and joy because they were her real grandkids. Whenever Maisie heard Rita say something rude to me or about Cody, he would step in and Rita would shut up. I tried my best to shield Cody from Rita's words, but I could not shield him from her actions. Archer's family made it a point to meet up every other week and just spend time with each other. Cody and I used to attend these gatherings starting about a year into my relationship with Archer. I tolerated Rita's hatred towards me because I thought that she just needed time to warm up to me and Cody. But her behavior only got worse after Archer and I got married. Rita made it a point to always spoil Maisie's kids with gifts whenever we had a family gathering, and she would leave Cody out. I could see the joy on her face when Cody would look sad at the presents that his cousins got. It was even worse considering the fact that Cody adored Rita because she was his only grandmother. So one day, During one of our gatherings, I pulled Rita aside and asked her if we could talk. "Hey, Rita, can we talk?" "Yeah, sure. What's going on?" "It's nothing really big, but I did want to ask you something." "All right, what is it?" "Do you have something against my son or me?" "What? Why are you asking me that?" "Because I couldn't help but notice how you always spoil Maisie's kids, oftentimes in front of Cody. You constantly make sure to remind him that he's not the same as his cousins." "That's because he's not." "Come again? Why should I treat Cody like he's my grandson? Just because you married my son, Cody becomes my grandson? That's not how it works." "Archer adopted Cody, which makes Cody his son, and that makes Cody your grandson." "My grandchildren have my blood running through them. Cody has someone else's genes and blood, and God knows what kind of character that man must have had." "I don't think it's right for you to judge my son based on his father." "I don't care what you think. You asked me a question and I'm giving you my answer. I mean, there must have been a reason that man abandoned the both of you, right? Maybe there's something wrong with you and that's going to rub off on your kid. And let me tell you, I do not want whatever that is running in my family." Whoa, what's going on here? "Your mother was just telling me that she doesn't consider Cody to be her grandson because I have questionable qualities that she doesn't want to be a part of her family." "Mom, what is wrong with you? That's such a mean thing to say. Cody is part of our family, whether you like it or not. I don't like how you favor my kids over him either. You better start treating them equally or you're not going to meet my kids again. You can't seriously be threatening me with no contact over this stranger's kid." "Zoe is not a stranger and neither is Cody. They are Archer's family, and if you can't accept that, then there's no need for you to have your family either because you clearly don't value family. Stop behaving like a child and be nice." Maisie grabbed my hand and left a gobsmacked Rita behind. Rita did not like that Maisie was on my side. She also did not like how Maisie's kids were so nice to Cody. They loved to share their new gifts with him, which was the only thing that made Cody happy after he watched his cousins open their gifts while he got nothing. Rita had always tried to get them to keep her gifts to themselves, be it by force or just making snide comments about them being too careless with their new gifts, by letting Cody play with them too. Maisie had thankfully always stepped in and told Rita to back off. She'd been on my side at all times, and I was beyond grateful that she had taken my side yet again. Rita did text me after that gathering to tell me that she was sorry for treating me and Cody so poorly. She told me that she would be a better person and that she had only been behaving this way because she didn't want her grandchildren to feel like they didn't matter to her. She was only trying to show her grandkids that they were special to her, and she ended up doing that at Cody's expense, which she regretted a lot. Archer and I were genuinely surprised that she actually made an effort to apologize. I mean, if I'm being honest, I did feel like her apology was an obligatory one and not one that she actually meant. A part of me also did feel hurt that it took Maisie threatening Rita to cut contact with her kids for Rita to actually behave decently. I decided to look past my feelings about the whole thing anyway. I was just glad that I could look forward to Rita being nicer to us. After we got that text from Rita, Archer and I decided to call Maisie and invite her out to lunch with us. We left all the kids with Rita. I know, a huge surprise, and we went to lunch together. Once we were seated together, I thanked Maisie for coming. "Thanks for coming, Maisie." "Of course, why wouldn't I? So what's this all about then?" "Zoe told me about how you stood up for her in front of Mom, and we just wanted to thank you for doing that." "Oh, there's no need to thank me for anything. I simply did the right thing. I mean, I've been watching how Mom's been treating my kids compared to Cody. It would infuriate me. But every time I tried to bring it up with Mom, she would just brush me off, or she would just quite literally exit the conversation and go play with the kids. I really don't understand why Mom is like this. I mean, doesn't she care about the fact that I consider Cody my son? And even legally speaking, he is. Which is exactly what I reminded her of. It's embarrassing how she's behaving worse than our kids. There's no need to play favorites and throw tantrums. I agree. Seriously, Maisie, you're an amazing mother. I've seen the way your kids share everything they get from Rita with Cody. That's not something a lot of kids would do. You're raising them well. Thank you, but I really am just doing the bare minimum. Besides, Mom really does not seem to like that they share with Cody. I swear I've seen her just stare at them in anger for doing it before. I can't imagine. I mean, Mom loved to play favorites all the time with us too. Oh, yeah. Believe me, Zoe, Archer and I never had a good relationship until we moved out of Mom's home. We were constantly fighting to be her favorite, so I really do understand how Cody must feel. I've had to have some pretty tough conversations with him regarding Rita's treatment of him. I try my best to make up for it by spoiling him, but that does not really change things, you know. I completely understand that. Well, Mom seemed pretty shaken up by my threat to take her grandkids away from her if she continues to treat Cody this way, so I hope that she changes. Were you serious about your threat? Absolutely. I don't want my kids growing up around a negative influence like that. I want them to be good and accepting people, things that my mother is clearly not. Which is why I want to tell both of you this. If my mother does anything, and I mean anything bad to Cody, please tell me about it. I'm on your side no matter what. I'll do that. Thank you so much, Maisie. Oh, please, it's a pleasure. After that meeting with Maisie, Archer and I picked Cody up from Rita's place, and we were surprised to learn that she had not only treated him nicely, but also given him gifts. Maisie's threat actually hit a nerve in Rita because she began to treat Cody really nicely, and by extension, she started treating me nicely as well. It took a couple of months for me to fully trust Rita. I mean, when you've been bullied by someone for a long while, it will take some time to trust them. I will admit that I did take too little time trusting her, though. She bullied Cody and me for years, so only taking a few months to let her in was a rookie mistake. I just really wanted Cody to have a grandmother, and I wanted a good relationship with my mother-in-law. Once I began to trust her, I began to truly believe that my relationship with her was improving. Archer was really happy that his mother and his wife were getting along nicely as well. Cody would frequently ask to go over to Rita's, or would ask for Rita to come over, so that would often happen too. Rita quickly became a regular fixture in our lives. I was even happier because I finally got to enjoy our family gatherings instead of spending that time worrying about how Cody was feeling, or just being angry with Rita for the way that she was treating him. Around this time, Cody had also picked up bicycle riding. Now, he was a new learner on the two-wheel cycles, so I would accompany him to the park and assist him while he learned to ride. Every once in a while, he would fall, but after a little comforting, he'd be back on his bike again. It just so happened that one day, while Rita was over at our place, Cody asked me to take him cycling. Mom, can I go cycling now? Well, sweetie, have you completed all your homework? Yes. Okay, and what about your room? Have you cleaned it? Of course, Mom. I know all your rules about going out. That's good. You're going to have to wait for a bit, though. You know that Grandma Rita is here. How about we go in half an hour? Oh, there's no need to wait for me to leave. I don't think I could just leave you here at home alone while I take Cody out for a while. Who said that I'll be home alone? Why don't I take Cody cycling? I appreciate the offer, but Cody is still learning how to cycle, and he's pretty prone to falling. I wouldn't want you to have to deal with all that. Nonsense. That won't be an issue. Just let me do it. I really don't want that. It's okay. Cody and I can go cycling tomorrow. He deserves a break anyway. Why won't you let me take him? It's not like that at all. Look, I know I've had some ideas and thoughts before, but I've spent some time around your child and he seems lovely. It's good to hear that, but that's not going to change my decision. I really don't want to trouble you with this. Please, how about you consider this bonding time with Cody? I mean, aren't you happy that I'm actually coming around to him being my grandson too? Yes, but we'll be back in an hour tops, I promise. Fine. Cody, sweetie, Grandma Rita will take you cycling. Get your gear. I was not entirely comfortable with Rita taking Cody cycling. I mean, I trusted her, but something just felt off. I tried my best to let go of the bad feeling I had in my gut and busied myself with housework for the next hour or so. Archer was at work, so I didn't really have anyone else to share my anxiety with. When the sky started turning dark, I grew even more anxious. Rita and Cody had been out for almost 2 hours, and Rita was not picking up my calls. Finally, I heard Rita's car pull up into the driveway, and Rita walked into the house just as I was done making dinner. Hello, I'm back. Oh, hey, where's Cody? Oh, that boy, what do I tell you? You were right, he was a disaster on the cycle. What does that mean? Where is he? Well, I took him to the park, he got on his cycle and rode it very funnily, might I add, and then he fell and started crying. Can you just tell me where he is? Is he hurt? I have no idea, really. The boy just kept crying and crying. I got so embarrassed and annoyed by all the attention that he was drawing towards us, so I just left him there. You left him alone? In the park at this hour? In my defense, I kept trying to get him to shut up, but he would not stop. I mean, what more did I expect from a child that wasn't from this family? Have you seen the way Maisie's kids behave? They would never have cried and drawn so much attention to themselves. They would have just gotten up and dusted themselves off. You cannot be serious right now. Did you purposely do this? No, of course not. I really did try to bond with that kid, but he actually looks and behaves nothing like our family. So I had no choice but to leave him there. You had a choice to keep him safe. You could have called me at least. What is wrong with you? There's no need to be so dramatic. It's just a park. There's no danger there. You can just go and pick him up. I am, but just know that I'm going to make you pay for this. More than angry at that moment, I felt fear for Cody. I rushed to the park, and after about 2 minutes of walking around, I happened to notice a huddle of boys just a year or two older than Cody. They seemed to be taunting and making fun of someone in the middle of their circle. I don't know what it was, maybe my mom's instincts, but I just knew that it was Cody in the middle of them. I rushed there, and I was right. Cody was sitting crouched down with his hands on his ears as the boys made jabs at him for not knowing how to ride his bike. Some of them even poked and kicked him. I managed to scare the boys away, and I gathered Cody in my arms. He cried for a long time after that and told me about how scared he was. He confirmed Rita's story, and at that moment I felt white-hot rage course through my veins. The sheer audacity that Rita had to endanger a child at the park, in the dark no less, was astounding. I wanted to make her pay for it in the worst way possible. I managed to calm Cody down, and I took him back home. Archer was home and pacing back and forth in the living room. Rita had thankfully left after she told Archer about what had happened. Archer got really mad at her, obviously, and kicked her out of the house. As soon as we got home and Archer saw Cody, he held Cody in his arms as well and made sure that Cody was all right. We let Cody have whatever he wanted for dinner, and after we put him to sleep, we discussed what had happened and what we wanted to do. I'm so sorry that this happened, Zoe. You have nothing to apologize for. Don't worry about it. No, it's just that I let you trust my mother like that. If I had at least warned you. Hey, you didn't know that she would leave Cody like that. And you didn't let me trust Rita. I trusted her myself. I guess I just feel really bad, and I wish that I could have done more than just yell at her to get out, you know? I completely understand that, but all that matters right now is that Cody is safe and okay. Don't blame yourself for anything that happened. How can I not? I never for once thought that my mother could be so elitist and cruel in her thoughts. She was always the most generous and nicest person I knew. Do you know we had a neighbor who had a kid around our age when Maisie and I were growing up? The kid's family was poor, so Mom would go out of her way every weekend to cook them a big batch of lasagna. And she would buy the kid clothes and stationery for school. I mean it when I say that this was the last way I expected her to behave. Wow. If I'm being completely honest, I actually cannot picture Rita being that way at all. I mean, it's definitely because of the way that she's treated Cody and I, but, you know, maybe it's because of that treatment that I overlooked all her previous behavior and just trusted her so blindly. I just wanted her to accept me, and I put Cody in danger. Hey, if you're asking me not to blame myself, then you can't blame yourself either. My mom was a mean woman to both of you, and it's not abnormal to want her to accept you when she decided to change. Sure, we were both a little careless, but are we just going to sit around and mope about our mistake? Or do we want to do something about it? Are you sure you want to do something against your mother? Sweetie, she endangered our child. So she will not get off the hook easily. Just because she's my mother doesn't mean that she doesn't have to face the consequences of her actions. Okay then, how about we tell Maisie about what happened today? Why would we tell her? Well, she told us to tell her about whatever messed up things that Rita did to either Cody or I, and she did threaten to never let Rita see her grandkids. And you know what? That's the most brilliant idea I've ever heard. Call and tell her everything right now, and we'll just let her take care of everything after. We called Maisie and let her know about everything that happened with Rita. Maisie was furious and shocked at Rita's behavior. She assured us that she would not let Rita anywhere near her grandchildren, and that she would take care of Rita for us. I was beyond relieved that I had such a supportive family that was ready to stand up for me and my son when we most needed it. Archer really did do his best to make up for what Cody had to go through because of Rita. Archer made sure that he was always home in time to take Cody to the park, and he made sure to spend extra time with Cody to show him that he truly was loved and accepted in his family. Archer's gestures really made me so incredibly happy. But along with that, I also made sure to keep in touch with Maisie. She too called me every single day to check on how Cody was doing. I would assure her that he was doing better, but whenever I asked her what was going on with Rita, she would simply tell me that she was taking care of it, and she would ask me not to worry about it. I don't exactly know what went down between Maisie and Rita, but a little more than a week after Cody's incident, Rita came banging on our door. Archer opened the door for her, and Rita demanded that I come down to talk to her. Oh, hey, Mom. Why are you here? I need to speak to that wife of yours. Why? Did something happen? Get her down here immediately. Zoe, my mom's here, and she wants to talk to you. Oh, hello, Rita. What's going on? You're trying to ruin my life, aren't you? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't even try to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Could you be clearer? Because as far as I'm concerned, I haven't done anything to ruin your life. Maisie won't let me see my grandkids anymore. Apparently you told her that I was a bad guardian. Oh, well, I don't see how what I said was wrong. You know very well how much I love my grandkids, and you spread lies in order to ruin my relationship with them. Spread lies? You abandoned Cody at the park while it was dark. Why wouldn't Zoe warn Maisie? I would never treat my actual grandkids that way, and I can't believe that you're siding with your lying wife over your own mother. Cody is my son, and therefore your grandson. He may not have my blood running through his veins, but that does not make him less of a son to me. Your precious grandkids also see Cody as their cousin. Maisie sees Cody as her nephew. You're literally the only one that cannot, for the love of God, see him as your kin. Because he is not. Zoe has brainwashed every single one of you into believing that Cody is your relative, because we all know that her personality and character will get her nowhere. So she latched onto the first person with money that she saw. Oh, wow. That is an incredibly hurtful thing to say, Rita. I've honestly heard enough of your nonsense, Mom. You come into my house, insult my family, put them in harm's way, and you really think that you won't have any consequences to face for it? I did not leave Cody in any danger that day. Zoe, you better call Maisie right this second and tell her that you made up everything. I'm not doing that, because I didn't make anything up. I reached the park just in time to see Cody being cornered by a few bigger boys who looked ready to beat him up. I'm sure if that happened, you would still have found a way to blame that on Cody instead of taking responsibility for your actions. How was I supposed to know that Cody was a bully magnet? Okay, that is enough. You need to leave now. What decisions Maisie makes is none of our business. If she heard our story and decided that you were not allowed to see her kids, that's her protocol. Don't come here to blame us for it. Leave now, or I will call the police and have you escorted off my property. Rita did not want the police to come over, so she left, but not without sending me a glare. She later texted me about how I was clearly a crappy parent because if I was a good one, my son would have been able to ride a bike and she would not have been banned from seeing her grandkids. I blocked her after that text, and so did Archer. We wanted nothing more to do with her. Aside from that, Rita decided to fight for her grandparents' rights. Maisie took her up on that challenge and went around gathering evidence of Rita's neglect of Cody in general and the day that she abandoned Cody in the park at night. It's safe to say that Rita did not get a ruling in her favor. Maisie and her kids came over after a while, and we had a long laugh about Rita's behavior and her fate now. I genuinely hope she realizes just how messed up it is to treat a child differently just because they were not your blood. By that extension, she shouldn't be treating even her neighbor's kids nicely. Yes, I've seen her be nice to them. It would not have hurt her to treat Cody with some kindness at least. Cody has thankfully forgotten about what happened in the park. He doesn't like Rita anymore, to say the least, and I think he was the happiest out of all of us when I told him that he would not be meeting Rita, nor would she be coming over to our place. Of course, Archer also apologized to Cody for Rita's behavior and assured him that no matter how Rita treated him, he was still Archer's son. Cody is back to being his happy, playful self, and I'm happy. And I'm happy that things finally settled down now. I don't really know what's happened to Rita ever since. I mean, it's been a good few months since everything happened. I don't really want to know what's happened either. I'm just happy that she stopped bothering us. Archer and I are looking forward to what's going to happen next in our lives. I know I'll be able to get through whatever is next thrown in my way because I have a wonderful family